Ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, it is the MP Show. The MP Show is here. MP Show is here. You already know. Hey, my boy, hailing out of Melbourne, Australia. You know him. You love him. One of the most amazing voices in all of men's physique right now. I'm talking about the accent, and I'm talking about the articulation, and I'm talking about his knowledge and his coaching. Avon, the Australian voice of men's physique. Phil Naselli, let's go, baby.
Let's go, Phil. Lock in, Phil.
And out of Thailand. He is island hopping, but he is always dropping mad knowledge when it comes to men's physique, okay? Mindset, the look, the structure. You know him as the originator of all of this right here, the heartbeat of men's physique, the culture himself, McGravy, always wavy, Hart McGrath, let's go, baby.
Let's go, Hart. Let's go, mate.
And it's your boy, out of Hotlanta, the Gaffer, IBB Pro, just fresh out of off of seeing our boy Bruno Mars perform. Man, that was a crazy-ass show. Yo, my son looks like him. Hart, you kind of look like him. Phil, you know what? You look like him.
I look like him as well. We all look like him.
We all look like him. Everyone looking like Bruno Mars around here. Man, that was live. Happy to be here, y'all. Let's get into it. Hart, what you got for us?
Ladies and gentlemen, the men's physique community, the horde, welcome back to the show. It's time for another recap of what went down this weekend. We got 3 different major topics we're going to talk about. First one being the Men's Physique Pro Show, the Los Angeles Grand Prix. Massive upset. It's going to be crazy. We had a Masters Pro Show. Nothing new there. If you've been tuning into the league, you know what happened there. And then we have a natural men's physique pro who looks absolutely incredible. Phil, what'd you think of the weekend, brother?
We had such a stacked lineup at that LA Grand Prix, man. Like, there was Olympians, there was guys coming off wins, there was guys on people's tails. We had a sleeper. No one saw it coming. And I'm so excited to get into this one, man, because, man, how good did the guy look?
Boys, we literally talked about him and said, man, it's been a couple of years since he's hit the stage. We literally said there's no updates about him. And then he just came out of nowhere. Emerson Costa, ladies and gentlemen, kick it off, Hart.
So I have something that I got to read because one of our followers, one of our subscribers, I hope he subscribed, called us out on the YouTube channel. And when I saw it yesterday, I was feeling a little salty. And I was probably feeling salty because he's right. And I want to read it off and I want to show everyone what it says. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Regardless, I'm going to read it. So this comment, and this pertains to exactly what we're talking about. Emerson Costa and his win. Listen to this, guys. Eddie Paulista says, Emerson Costa won. So he posted this right after Emerson won. He was the first one on the scene. He says, Emerson Costa won the Arnold Classic Brazil Pro. He got second place at the Daytona Pro in 2025. He placed third at the Aces stage in Las Vegas in 2025. And I don't hear about his name. That's funny, guys. Open your eyes. LOL, LOL. So on behalf of the Men's Physique Show, we do apologize to Emerson Costa. We should have been having him higher placings in this show because our boy just kicked ass. The Gaffa. What did you think of Emerson Costa coming out of literally nowhere? No one had him in his first place. No one in Physique League got anything right this week. What'd you think of Emerson Costa?
Man, I mean, he literally came up behind me ninja style and just punched me in the jaw. Last time that happened was Francisco Martinez. Okay. Emerson literally came out of nowhere. He does the Superman pose here. The abs definitely etch. I mean, his conditioning looks incredible. His abs look great. The ab cage looks amazing. You can see the lats flaring and the serratus, like pure and evident. You cannot miss it. Has nice quads for sure. The calves need to come up a little bit, but you know that's an Achilles heel of a lot of us. And his arms look good. I mean, they look good. They streamline into the shoulders. But he's really big up at the top. And his back, bro, the detail in his back was second to none at the show, clearly. I mean, he has an incredible, dry, grainy, thick, dense back. I mean, you literally look at all the muscles that are there, and he covers every single muscle that you want to see in a back pose. And I think that that's really what helped him edge out Dan Ibrahim, was Dan Ibrahim has a great back, but we have a guy who had even more detail in the back than Dan Ibrahim, and he's known for his back. So now you got to put Mr. Costa into the mix of backs and great backs in the league. I mean, literally, he's in it. He just punched his ticket, and he is in the conversation for that top tier when it comes to backs in men's physique right now. I think that he's got a very, and I love that he's rocking the Manifest shorts, another Manifest athlete. He's got that front pose similar to the standard himself, Ryan Terry, and it looks really good. The difference between him and Ryan Terry, Ryan has more cap on the shoulders. He has more detail and striations in the shoulders, and his chest, the upper shelf, is a little bit fuller than Emerson's right here, and his waist is a little bit more narrow than Emerson. So every time I see the Superman pose, I compare it to our boy, the standard himself, Mr. Ryan Terry. However, compared to everybody on that stage, I mean, clearly you can see he's got a look, man. He totally shocked me. I wish I would have seen more photos of him and more videos leading up to the show. We weren't blessed with that, and that's why, you know, out of sight, I hate to say it, the old cliche, but out of sight, out of mind, unfortunately. Now it's great to see him. He's definitely on the radar. He won't be off our radar on a go forward, that's for sure. Phil, what do you think?
When I say 3 words, dick, skin, shredded, this is exactly
there goes our
what
monetization.
I'm talking about.
There goes my food.
You told me to get 4 meals for $7 in Thailand. You'll be right. We'll help you out. Man, inside out, peeled. He brought the conditioning. You know, Gaffer, like you just said, man, this guy went MIA throughout this prep. No one was talking about him. Hart, like you said, Physique League. There were a couple of people, probably Brazilian people, who picked Emerson to win the show. But man, for the majority of us, we were all sleeping on him. And like you said, Hart, apologies that we didn't have this guy in the mix. We should have. He's an Olympian for great reason. The muscle that this guy had on that frame was absolutely crazy. And then when you turn to the back, I mean, conditioning, I already spoken about my thoughts on his conditioning. But in terms of the thickness, the density, the width, this guy, I don't know if you guys have seen that meme of the really jacked bull. Have you guys seen that meme with that white jacked bull? Get it up, Hart. Pause.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That.
Yeah, of course.
This is exactly what I thought when I... Be careful where you zoom, Hart. Be careful. If you want to talk to me about monetization, be careful where you zoom on this thing. That's when I saw him turn to the back, this is the first thing that came into my head. This, man, the guy was nuts. I mean, no doubt about it, like, he deserved to win. With a frame like that, with a structure like that, with the muscle, the thickness, the density, the conditioning, the works, it was very, very hard to go past Emerson Costa. But yeah, first pro show win for the season. We've seen him on the Olympia stage before. More than likely, we'll see him on the Olympia stage again in 2026. Hart, you saw these two battle it out in LA. What are your thoughts?
Man, I think it was just incredible seeing someone bring a back that was just as good, about as good, a little bit better, depending on your perspective, of Dan Ibrahim. We talk about every single week how no one's going to come close to Dan's back. Well, we just saw it. And again, I don't know what your opinion is on who had the better back, but boys, I mean, that I'm gonna pause the video because let's take a deep look at this. Emerson Costa versus Dan Ibrahim. And guys, remember, Emerson Costa, he actually reached out to me. He said, hey, my Instagram got like deleted. I have like very little updates. So we didn't really see much about Emerson Costa before this, but now we're talking about him. And you want to talk about two of the best backs on that stage. Here we go. Phil Naselli, Avomp, the #1 physique coach in Australia, just put up a reel stating, is this the year of the backs? It may be. Here's another example of that. Dan Ibrahim, incredible back. Emerson Costa, incredible back. The detail in the width, the muscle separation, the conditioning, you have to give to Emerson Costa. The 3D freaky muscle bellies, the round muscle bellies, you got to give to Dan. On this day in the West Coast, the judges chose Emerson Costa. So wide, from clavicle to clavicle, from shoulder to shoulder, so damn wide. You know this guy is super happy because no one, and I mean no one, maybe one, I think one or two guys had Emerson Costa over on Physique League. Go play Physique League week 6 this week. Had Emerson Costa winning the show. but there's a really good shot. I mean, both these backs are incredible. They're both incredible for different reasons. Gaffa, what do you think about this?
I think that they both. One thing I loved about Dan, and he's made some really, really great strides recently in how he's pulling off his posing. And you can see how he went from, I think it was fourth or fifth a couple of weeks ago to coming in second. To winning a show and now coming in second. One of the things that he does is when he turns to the back now, he stays wide. Dan turns around and keeps his lats flared instead of letting his lats just relax. And that's something that everyone should pay attention to. Whether you have a good back or you don't, you want to stay wide. You want to keep those lats flared because you take up space. You reduce the amount of gap between your arms and your lats, and the judges want to see a big physique pop when you turn around. They're looking for the one who has that pop. And you can do that by staying wide, right? A lot of people seem to pinch and then release and go into their back pose. This is a great example of someone who has the density and the width to do that very thing, to go, and pinch and then come out, but instead chooses to stay wide, which aesthetically looks better, in my humble opinion. But as much detail as Dan has, he didn't have this type of Belgian blue, is what they call that cattle, by the way, Phil. Belgian blue. So I'm thinking Brazilian blue is Emerson's new name. He's got the blue shorts right there. I'm thinking Brazilian blue. Okay. And they say that the reason why the cattle is so dense is because of something called double muscling, right? It's like they've got double muscling. It's like he's got double muscling on his back here. That's how many muscles and that he has. That's how thick and how dense and how wide this guy Emerson is. So I just got to say, man, again, I can't stress it enough. We're not sleeping on him anymore. Okay, he's made a mark. He made his point. The Men's Physique Show is now listening. You're on our radar, brother. And we can't wait to see you do your next show and the look that you're going to come in with, because clearly peeled, check. Back definition, width and density, check. Quads, legs, check. Abs, check. Ab cage, serratus, check. The only thing, like I said, I'd like to see, get a little bit fuller on the upper chest and get those shoulders a little bit more detailed, a little bit more, a few more lines, a little bit more cap, and he's hitting. And I think that the tan that the glaze that they had here didn't do him justice. He almost has that Ali Bilal tan, the way it's accentuating his muscles and his muscle bellies. I wonder if he did the Ali Bilal and used the dishwasher detergent to take a shower first and then put the tan on, because it looks so crisp. It looks right on his skin. So kudos to him. And Dan, by the way, love his choice in shorts. Darker skinned person wearing the red shorts with the yellow really made him pop. You noticed him. You look at Amit Agre, who we had placing a lot higher. He had darker shorts and nothing. They didn't really pop. I wonder if, it's almost like the judges missed him. And from what I heard, and what the rumor is that there was a little bit, and we can get into this in a second, of course, but it seems like, again, if you're not standing out, your muscles are standing out, your shorts got to stand out. Everything, to me, you have to control your controllables. And that means that, you got to be the guy who stands out. The judges want to look at the way you pose, how you pose, keeping your chest up, your tan, your short, everything matters. Every little detail, because the separation is less than 1% with all these guys. Phil, what are you saying here?
Are we talking about Dan? We'll switch over to Dan?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's dig into Dan a little bit more. Dan Ibrahim, second place, coming off of a pro show win. Let's dig into Dan. What do you think of Dan this week, Phil?
You know what? I agree with Dan coming in second. I'll tell you why. Because if the judges they're favoring Emerson Costa to take the win on the day, which he more than absolutely deserved to win. Coming in second place, you need a physique that kind of matches that. That's why I believe Dan came in second. Obviously, they were going for a bit more muscle on the day, a bit more size, as opposed to the more streamlined, sort of aesthetically looking physiques. So I actually agree with Dan coming in second if Emerson was going to come in first. Now, what I like about Dan is this front pose. He needs to stick with the hands on hip. You saw him doing it again. He put his hand on the hip for a second. Luckily, he gave the photographer enough time to take the photo, because then he would go back into his two hand off hip pose. What I realized, and I actually noticed that even more so when Hart was going through the videos, is when he has his both hands off hip, he actually looks more narrow. He looks a lot smaller, as opposed to when he puts his hands on hip, it actually gives him a lot more of a V taper, makes his waist look a lot smaller. All he now needs to do is focus on popping that right arm out a little bit more and showing a little bit more of that right lat. That's all he needs. All of a sudden now he's transformed his physique. He's got a completely different look, and it looks a lot nicer as well. He looks less awkward with one hand on hip. He looks more awkward with two hand on hip. Same, like, take a look at the difference. Look at the V taper here. Now go to the next one. Look how much smaller that waist looks just by putting his hand on the hip. His waist looks a lot smaller. He has more of that pop to the physique as well. It makes a lot more sense. And in regards to the back shot, again, like we said, Emerson, Costa, Dan, Ibrahim, both had the best backs on the day. I believe Emerson had a little bit more detail, a little bit more. It was a little bit more etched in, which was why I believe he took the win over Dan. But all in all, still an impressive look from Dan Ibrahim, especially coming off the win last week at Puerto Rico. But yeah, very, very impressed with the look. Gaffer, tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. Everything you just said. You know, they're over in Los Angeles, and it's notoriously known. And although the judges say, you know, we judge what we see, and we judge the same no matter what coast we're on, the results look like, you know, the guys who are more muscular and have like more of a bigger frame, whereas, like, you know, a few years ago probably would have been dinged on the East Coast or in the Olympia for having too much muscle and looking like they shouldn't be in the men's physique division, probably closer to classic, or that in between, you know, classic and men's physique. They get rewarded on the West Coast. It seems. I mean, the results show that seems to be the trend. You don't see guys who win on the East Coast that have a streamlined physique necessarily win at those shows on the West Coast. And, you know, is it the same judges? Yeah, but, you know, maybe there's some influencing from, you know, being over in the West Coast and, you know, thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Gold's Gym days or whatever. I don't know. But I will say that they favor the bigger guys in the West Coast from the results. The results are saying this than they do in the East Coast. Now, the other thing I want to say about Dan that I agree with you, when he puts his hand on his waist, notice how smaller his waist gets. So if you can go back to those two shots, Hart, where you see the hands off and then the one hand on. So, like, look at his waist right there, and look at the detail also, right? Now look at that. Look how much smaller the waist got and how much more detailed it got also. So 100%, it's a better look. It's a better streamline, right? And to your point, Phil, all he has to do is get that right shoulder over, that right side over a little bit more so you can pop that right lat. And this is a beautiful pose for him. This is like a great pose for him. I think that the two hands off looks better than it did last week when he put his two hands. He's staying wider and allowing the lats, his arms to rest on the lats now instead of covering the lats, which is what he did last week. But still, not as beautiful of a V taper as that one hand on hip is. And look at even the lat is etched in on the lower part of that lat right there, streaming down into the right there. Even that has an etch to it that the other two hands off hip, you don't appreciate that. You don't really get a chance to see that. You don't get a chance to see the detail. Even the abs don't look as crunch and as etched as he does with the one hand on hip. So I agree, man. Like, why you would go away from something that looks this good, I don't know. Like, boom, boom. See how he does that? Boom, boom. Maybe you do it just to give a different look to the judges, but I'd keep the hand on and then reset, either doing that X boom pop and then, or doing that step back that Brandon Hendrickson does where he shows the obliques and everything and then goes right back into the one hand on hip and all. Like, I would just change that up. But he looked great. Definitely deserves second. I agree with you, Phil. I agree with you, Hart. He looks great. And kudos and shout out to Dan Ibrahim. Can't wait to see Dan and have a sit down with him for sure.
Last note on Dan that I got before we move on to third place. I just want you guys to pay attention Emerson Costa, look at the midsection. Look how tight it is. I noticed Dan slip a little bit as he switches with Emerson Costa. He protrudes his stomach. He doesn't hold it in. So just composure, posing, remembering, even though you're fired up, even though you got, hey, I'm about to win my second pro show possibly, keep that core tight and keep the one hand on your waistband. Just, I don't know. And this is us just really trying to help you, Dan. I don't know who's helping you pose you, but I don't think the two hand off the hip does you any justice because your muscle bellies are so round and you're so big everywhere. Your oblique is big and round, and that makes your waist look bigger. So when you put one hand on your waist, like the boys are saying, it literally takes away that little bump in your oblique that makes your waist look wider. So keep that hand on there, bro. That's men's physique. That is 100% men's physique. When you take your hand off it, it's almost like it goes down to like 95% men's physique, if that makes sense. And now watch his watch him walk and switch with Emerson Costa here. Watch Dan's abs. Watch Dan's abs. Watch
right
the
there.
abs.
I mean,
you see
how they relax right
Boom.
there, bro. And then
Kinda
right
relax.
there. Yep.
Keep him tight.
Yeah.
Keep him tight the whole time. But I love the energy. Dan keeps improving every single week, which is so cool to see from Dan. We love to see Dan improving. It's so beautiful. Let's talk about third place. And to your point, I'm actually going to throw it to Avon first, but Yafa, we were talking about it before we started this. Holy crap. Ishimoto. Farouq Ishimoto, the black Asian name. I had no clue Farouq was this big. Avon. Look at this man. He looks like he's 6. Bro, he looks like he's 6'6" up there. What'd you think, Avon? But Farouq?
I got to tell you,
shit.
I was shocked. I did not think he was that tall. I thought he would have been maybe Dan's height, maybe even Amit's height. But when I saw this guy was like a giant on the stage. And I mean, he fills out the frame nicely for a tall guy. I need a height check. If anyone knows how tall Farouq actually is, drop it in the comments below. But man, this guy was one man that I was excited to see. Especially after the Taiwan show, we weren't able to see him side by side with anyone. But man, did he put on a fight on the weekend? Up against multiple Olympians, guys also coming off pro show wins as well. This was a good test for him early days, and man, didn't he come in sharp. I mean, the abs were in. The silhouette is beautiful. It's clean. The Superman pose, he hits them well. The legs fill out the shorts beautifully. The back matches the front. This guy was one of the most complete guys on the day, if you ask me, from top to bottom, left to right, front to back. It just seemed like the mass monsters were favored on the day. But man, this guy is impressive. I don't even know how young this guy is. He's got to be a young chicken as well. But man, he has a physique. And now that he's in the States, I'm not sure if he's doing a bit of a tour of the States. Hopefully he does, because man, this guy can pick up some valuable points in the States. Even more so, could pick up a pro show win. Gaffer, what's your thoughts on Farouq?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's got to be 6'2", because Amit is 5'10". Amit and I are same height as you are, Phil. And looking at him, he's got to be 6'2". Got to be.
They did him dirty in this one. They made him the same height.
They shrink him. They always shrink the pictures, right? And make everyone look the same size. It's so funny. Like Jamal Hill is like, 5'6", I think, 5'6", or 5'7", maybe. And they got him looking like he's the same height as everybody, So like, yeah, but Farouq, man. I mean, boys, wow, this is men's physique. He has a men's physique flow. Look at the lines on it. I mean, his core is hands down one of the best cores out of everybody. And I could see he needs a little bit more width in the back. I'll say that, but a little bit more width and maybe a touch more in the upper shelf. Other than that, the guy looks incredible. Like the guy, I'd like to see him bring his arms down a little bit so that he can fill in some of that space. You notice I think he's the only one up there that has the arms that high. And maybe they just caught him mid shot or something like that. That might not be the best shot. I know there's Mohammed, who came in 5th place. They caught him in a bad position when he showed his back. But man, he just looks, the chest is up. He's super tight. He's crisp. I honestly would have had him probably, especially if he was on the West Coast, I would have placed him higher than the other two guys, personally speaking. And I don't, not to take anything away from them at all, But when I see a core like this and a complete physique and the flow, the men's physique flow that he has, I just got the guy higher. I mean, he's got lines that the other guys don't have. He's got lines in the core. He's got definition that they don't have, and he's balanced top to bottom. So for me, that's just what I see.
Hold
what
on.
do you think?
I just DM'd Farouq Ishimoto. I said, bro, how tall are you? Here's his answer. Real time, boys.
What does that say?
He says he's 6'1".
6'11". Oh, 6'1".
6'1"?
He's 6'1". I'm gonna hit him right now. I'm gonna say, hey Farouq, me and the boys are on right now. Aleem Bolton, Philip Naselli, we're talking about you and how we think you did at the show. You looked amazing, and we can't wait for you to see the recap. Love you, brother. Thank you.
That's what's up. That's dope.
Was he as peeled as what he was in Taiwan? That's my question. Because he doesn't look as like shrink wrapped
has to be
from
it,
behind.
bro. That has to be it. Because when you look at this, like the eye test, who should win this show? You show anyone this, who should win this show? Everyone's going to say
my eyes
Farouq.
go to Farouq right away, bro.
Farouq, the stance, the posing.
Right,
I mean, everything, bro. Everything. So you're right, Phil. I don't know if we can see the conditioning here. I don't know.
The pictures don't do it justice like when you're up front, that's for sure. And you don't see little things like the vascularity that's coming through the skin, and you can see the veins in the guys, right? Like you miss that a lot of times. But he looks great. Agree. He doesn't have the best back on the stage, but he's arguably got the best front on the stage. And from a balance perspective, he's definitely one of the most balanced on that stage. So to me, I just saw him placing a little bit higher, but he still did good. I had him coming in at second. He came in third. So
yeah, he knows what he needs to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the lab,
he's doing
right
it
back in the lab.
Yep. All right, who's next?
Fourth place. This one's huge. This one is massive. Jamal Hill beats Amit Agre. I don't think anyone other than maybe a few people in Jamal's circle would say next week Jamal is going to beat Amit Agre. Everyone had Amit Agre winning this show. 99% of people. Jamal Hill, holy crap. Super, super excited. Aleem, I'm going to throw it over to you. Let's talk about Jamal Hill getting fourth place at the Los Angeles Grand Prix. And you told us about this guy. I'm not going to lie. There was a little bit of doubt just because I don't think these pictures and videos are doing us justice. But clearly, when he shows up in person and he brings his money package, he's beating multi-time Olympians. Talk about Jamal Hill.
Bro, I love this guy's look, man. I mean, and his attitude also. I've had the pleasure and the privilege now to be able to speak with him on multiple occasions through the DMs and all that stuff. And he's sending updates. And, obviously we met at the Tri-City and chopped it up. He's a huge fan of our show. And he just looks so freaky when you see him. His proportions go crazy. Like if you could take Corey Morris and shrink him like from a height perspective and go, okay, instead of being 6'1" Corey Morris, we're going to make you 5'7", right? The bubbly chest and even more so because his shoulders don't overshadow his chest. They flow. They're both bubbly. He just has these unique bubbly muscle bellies. His chest stands out. His shoulders stand out. His biceps, his arms look great. It all flows. It all streamlines. But the number one thing that I love about this guy is his core. His core is sick. He's got one of the smallest waists in the division. And the way, like I keep saying, that ab cage, the way it contours and does like this crescent, like this moon crescent to accentuate the actual abs themselves. Wow, bro. It's something like you don't see that a lot in our division. Normally the guys, you see the ab cage, it goes straight down or it bellows out just a little bit. His does something wild where it like goes in and then comes way out, concave ab cage. It looks crazy. So I really like that he's keeping his chest up a little bit more. This picture doesn't do him justice. Obviously, he's standing and they're catching him at an angle or whatever, and he's trying to keep that right lat out. They probably caught him mid-stride or getting into position. But I got to say, man, his mindset is right. He's shutting it down right now until later on in the year because they're going to work on the back. His feedback was, hey, you didn't have one of the best backs up there, but if you had a better back, you would have placed even better. So he came in fourth. last week. He came in fourth again this week, and he knows what he needs to do. So he's going to concentrate on the back. I hope he has enough time to allow the muscle to stick to the skeletal frame, all that new muscle that he's planning on putting on. My humble opinion, and I told him this, go ham right now on the back. Go balls to the wall, weighted pull-ups, hardcore Yates rows, all of that stuff. Go ham on the back now so that the muscle can stick. Because if you build up to it and you start like trying to go ham in the next month or two, it's too late. Like it's not going to be enough time if you're going to jump back in the show and think that that's going to stick to your frame when you hit the stage again in a few, like in, let's say 4 months or whatever. So, I hope he does that, but bro, he's locked in. He has great people around him. I really like his flow. Phil, what do you think when you see this Avon? When you see his frame now it's been 2 weeks in a row. What do you think when you see our boy Hill?
I fully understand why you keep talking about him, to be honest with you. I mean, like you said, Hart, like going into this show, I was with you. I'm like, Gaffer has Jamal in third or in the top 3. And I'm like, did you see the rest of the lineup? But now I completely understand why, man. Because like you said, this guy is men's physique. Look at the proportions on him. Look at the muscle. Look at the aesthetic flow that this guy has. He's got, like I said in a reel the other day, like it all stems from that midsection. This guy had one of the tightest cores on that stage on the weekend. The obliques were sharp. The V-tape was beautiful. I think for Jamal, it's just a case of putting a bit more size on. And like you said, from the rear as well, a bit more density, a bit more thickness, a bit more width. That's all he really needs. Maybe a little bit more in the chest as well. He's got a great chest, but I feel like for Jamal, he's just a little smaller compared to the guys that placed ahead of him. He definitely has time though. Now that he's locking it down, I know he's planning on doing a show later in the year, which will be amazing to see. Like you said, Gaffer, hopefully he's got enough time to go into that growth phase, build enough tissue, and then go back into the prep and hopefully come back with a bigger, fuller back and a bigger, fuller physique. But man, there's a reason why you keep having your eyes on him. Now he's got my attention. I'm sure he's got Hart's attention as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this guy can bring in the next couple of months, man, because, yeah, he's definitely got a big future in the sport. I don't know how old he is. I mean, I wouldn't think he's that old. He looks quite young to me. But, yeah,
he's a young dude.
Yeah, he's got a promising future in the sport. This is what he's bringing to these shows when he's up against some of the best athletes in the world, Olympians, multi-time Olympians, the works, man. And he's putting up a fight. He's standing toe-to-toe with these guys. Yeah, a bit more time in the gym, a bit more time in an off season. And man, this guy's going to be a guy to watch in the coming years. Hart.
One thing you noticed too last week, he had smaller shorts and they were higher. I think he had the 14-inch shorts or whatever. And now he came with longer shorts because his legs are really, really
Did we
dense.
lose the gaffinator?
I don't know.
I always look to you. I always look at you like, are you frozen as well? What he's gonna say is one thing we saw last week on Jamal Hill is that he had smaller shorts. So let's go check out the smaller shorts from last week. I didn't notice the shorts from last week. Did you?
Go, yeah, did it?
No,
what was last week for Jamal Hill? It wasn't Tri-City, was it?
No, it has to be Tri-City.
Yeah, it was Tri-City.
They were smaller,
blue ones.
Yeah, they were. And they're a different brand.
The Chulas.
Has Jamal got a short sponsor?
I don't know.
Very interesting. Let's see.
Because he didn't wear Chula
I don't know,
this
but he's
week.
wearing completely different pair of shorts. He's been with Chula for a long time, and here he is
what
over.
shorts are those? So
with,
those look
apparel.
like manifest
So
shorts.
the
but
shorts
material
changed.
doesn't
I don't know
seem
what
like
happened
it's
there, but
manifest
the shorts
the way
look
it's
good. And a beautiful fourth
shorts are
place
those he's
finish
wearing?
for Jamal. Super excited about that. Let's talk about fifth place. Kindy, bro. Mohammed. Is it Mohammad Al-Kindi? Yes, Mohammad Al-Kindi gets fifth place at this show. I didn't know too much about this guy prior to this show, but he shows up. Pretty sure it's the first show of the year. And before we even look at any stage photos, Phil, look at him here. I mean, that's a pretty decent look just coming off right here. Nice long torso, beautiful abs, pretty full in the upper body. Horde, I'm sure we'll get a lean back here sooner than later. But let's talk about fifth place, Mohammad Al-Kindi, far here to the left. What'd you think of Mohammad Al-Kindi this week, Phil?
Yeah, I mean, Mohammad Al-Kindi, he's got a nice shape, nice structure to the physique. I know the guy, I don't know how he does it, to be honest with you, because the guy's a pilot. This guy would be flying.
I saw that.
He would be flying here, there, and everywhere. This would mess with his sleep routine. This would mess with his meal timing. This would mess with everything. But the fact that this guy is able to still pursue a prep, pursue bodybuilding, probably spending more time in the air than he does on the actual ground, this would be, like, I mean, I know a lot of people have hard jobs, and trying to balance the job with your schedule, with your bodybuilding could be a mission within itself. But for this guy to fly to and from different time zones all the time. Will go fly one day in the night and then wake up in the lands at night and then fly in the morning and then it's night. Like, I don't know how this guy does it, but massive respect to him. And massive respect for him to jump on stage and get 5th place at this show. Because, man, this guy's got a great look. Like, when you compare him in comparison to the guys that placed ahead of him, they were a lot sharper than him, especially from the front. I think that's the one thing that he was missing. Now, he can hit a Superman pose very, very nicely. He's got nice wide clavicles, nice cap delts, the works. I feel like he needed more sheen on him or more oil or something. Because when you look at, for example, Farouq over there and Emerson on the other side, they look a lot shinier than him. Their abs pop a lot more because obviously there's a lot more oil.
Holographic Pokemon card. We talk about it. You talked about it.
Literally. And I think that was the difference between him and the guys that placed ahead of him. I know there has been a lot of controversy between, 5th and 6th place. A lot of people think 6th should have jumped to 5th, so on and so forth. But man, end of the day, that was out of his control. All that this guy could do was show up on the day, do his thing, and where the judges placed him, the judges placed him. And, first attempt in 2026, takes home a 5th place finish. Mate, awesome stuff. Right, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about this guy, but to your point, first of all, being a pilot, a full-time pilot, and then competing in these men's physique shows, like, I wonder if he flew the plane himself and came over. You know what I mean?
He'll never be late. He'll always land on time.
Late.
There'll be no time delays.
But a big W in my books for Mohammed. I mean, he beats Amit Agre, multi-time Olympian, a guy that is just right behind Carlos Okra and Emmanuel Hunter. That says something. I like his look. I do. I think, to your point, I think more sheen would do him justice and maybe a little bit more fuller. I don't know if that's the sheen or the fullness, but I like his look. I know he's probably coming out of that, what's it called? That area, the Middle East area, his heritage and all that stuff. I like it. I hope more guys from that region come over to the States and compete. I really like it. That was Mohammad Al-Kindi, 5th place at the Los Angeles Grand Prix. And let's talk about the most shocking news of the day, of the whole entire weekend. No one saw this coming. Everyone over on Physique League, which I'm actually going to pop over really quickly. If you played Physique League last week, you probably had, like just about everyone else, Amit Agre or Farouq Ishimoto in that first place. And as you can see here, a lot of people had that. They either had Dan, they either had Amit, or they had Farouq Ishimoto. And to everyone's surprise, Amit Agre, who's been dominating the stage, not winning yet because he's been going against some super big hitters, gets 6th place. And there is nothing posted from Amit Agre other than the Men's Physique News one that we collabed and the interview with Amit Agre. Make sure you go check that out. The Amit Agre interview is live. Philip Nicelli made a dope highlight of this. But Amit Agre gets 5th place. I know Aline Bolton had some intel on that, but sadly his internet connection isn't here. What'd you think of Amit? Just looking off of this photo, Phil, what do you think happened here?
First and foremost, man, I know Amit was really, really distraught after this. I mean, I know he looked at some of the photos and he was a little confused as to why he placed where he placed. And, I agree. Like, the guy looked great. And when you've come off a real, like, some highs, and this is one thing that is always said in the bodybuilding world, it's almost like, don't let your highs get to your head, but don't get your lows get to your heart. Always ride that midline. And I feel like he may have let the highs get to his head a little bit more, which is fine. I mean, end of the day, momentum is what's going to drive you forward. You, as an athlete, you want to have momentum and get better and aim to get better every single time you jump on stage. And that's exactly what Amit has done since jumping on the US tour that he's currently on. But this could be good for him. This could be great for him because now what does that do to him mentally? He can either let this break him or he can let this, this could be fuel to the fire and really rev him up leading into the next couple of shows. And I think that's exactly what is going to happen. I feel like he's going to use this show as additional fuel, as additional motivation to come in bigger and better next week. Now, I know Gaffer spoke to him, and I'll jump to Gaffer in a second about what he plans to do, for the rest of the for the upcoming shows. But when you look at the physique and when you compare it to the guys above him, the guys all above him looked a lot sharper in the midsection. Yes, he looks men's physique. Yes, he looked great. Yes, he looked full and big and bubbly. But if you take a look at the midsections with Emerson, with Dan, with Farouq, with Jamal, he didn't have the tightest midsection in comparison to those guys. Now, I feel like as the day went on, he started to fade. He may have been holding a little bit of water, and all of a sudden those abs starting to get, they started to look softer and softer and softer as he spent more time on stage. So I think that could have been the deciding factor. And if you go to the back half for me, I feel like even in regards to the back, if you compare him to 1, 2, and 3, now I want to do Mohammad Al-Kindi a little bit of justice here, because there wasn't a great photo of him sticking that back pose. So guys, don't go off that photo. But when you look at the conditioning in comparison to Jamal, when you look at the conditioning in comparison to Emerson, and in regards to Dan and Farouq, I feel like his back wasn't up to scratch with those guys. And I feel like that was partly the reason why he was pushed down the rankings on this occasion. But still an incredible physique. Like I said, I feel like what happened on the weekend could have been the best thing that happened to Amit, because I know he's going to be charged. I know he's going to be firing moving into next week's show. And I know he wants the win. He's not, if you haven't checked out our interview yet with Amit, like Hart said, go check it out. It's now on our YouTube channel. But this guy isn't leaving the States until he gets that win. And I feel like this was the additional fuel that he needed moving into his upcoming shows to try to take that win and bring it back to India. Gaffer, we know you spoke to Amit yesterday, I think it was. You got an update from him. Let us know, where's his head at? What's he thinking? How's he going? Give us the rundown.
Yeah. First of all, I love your depiction on Amit and how he performed and how he did. Very, very, very well done, Phil. Here's what I'm thinking. And from this picture, again, these pictures, we're not sure if they're catching him at the right time and whatnot. Amit, first of all, has a champion mentality. As we heard in the interview that we had with him, he's got a champion mentality. The guy is not scared of the smoke. He's relentless. He's exactly what we want to hear when we start talking about the bodybuilding mentality. When we talk about someone who is willing to go through the flames in order to get to the other side and be a better evolved version of themselves. According to the judges saw him holding some water. I saw it. We all saw it. In prejudging, he came back tighter in the finals. I'm not sure if they rejudged him for the finals, but he came in tighter for the finals. I think that the shorts were too dark. That shouldn't be the factor or the determining variable. But again, and it definitely matches the back of the screen, that they've got in the back there, the backdrop. But I agree. I think that, he's been tight. He was tighter last week, at least from the pictures. He looked tighter last week. Great job, Hart, pulling this up. That's really, really good. Yeah, because then we can see a variety of different pictures that are up here. But I do know that he and Cuts are going to be in St. Louis next weekend, and they're going to be rocking. That much I can tell you. And I can tell you that he's in a great mindset. I think that he could have placed higher. I think that he should have been in that top 4. But you gotta bring it, and these guys brought it. I mean, Dan looked great. He's crispy, bro. I mean, I don't think his tan and the glaze doesn't look good right there. Like, looking at his tan from last week compared to this week, I mean, you can definitely see the difference. Yeah. I mean, and he's holding a little bit right there. He's holding a little bit of water. So, and they don't want to see that. They don't want to see pinching, and they don't want to see you holding water. Those are two things that, especially going against the guys that are competing all throughout this year now, the steel sharpens steel. Everybody's gotten better than they were last year, 2, 3, 4 years ago, for sure. You got to come correct. There is no, hey, I'm going to come in, 85%, 92%, 94%. You got to come in damn near 100% at every show, because you never know who's coming in 100%. And best believe somebody is. Best believe somebody's going to come in as peeled and as perfect as they can possibly be coming into the show. So I like his posing now. I like that one hand on hip. I think he looks wider. I think he looks better. He looks more statuesque. It wasn't, according to this picture, it's not as tight as last week, but I definitely think that going into St. Louis, he's gonna bring a package that we haven't seen yet, and I think that that's going to be a very, very special condition. What do you say? Dick peel pause conditioning, Phil? that's what he's going to be bringing. So I'm excited
Thick
to see.
skin shredded.
Sure.
We're definitely getting demonetized now.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, just a little bit of feedback from Amit. He says, before I upload stage footage, just wanted to show how I was looking 2 days before the show, so you can actually see how things went till stage. Everything was on point. Amit says it was good. This is what the sport is all about. You never know what will happen, and that's the fun about it. You just learn, accept the facts, and move on. Glad I learned it sooner rather than later. He says the judges' feedback was you were in the top 2 to 3 battle. So he was battling for second and third place, but as the show goes on, he started to fade and some sort of water came up and ended up in 6th. You got everything, just come in drier in the next show, and that's all you have to do. So the homework is in. Amit Agre just needs to come in drier, was holding water, was beginning to fade. I'm sure him and Cuts will go back to the lab, make the adjustments. And then Aleem, you said he's in St. Louis next week?
Yeah. I wonder if, he's done a lot of shows,
Awesome.
bro. He's done a lot of shows. This is his, fourth?
That's what I'm saying.
Show? So, he's done 4 shows in a row. I wonder if his body is just starting to is starting to tank. I hope not. I know he's here for the win. He's a young guy. And he's going to have Cuts there. So I think that they'll be able to, if anyone can get you right, it's going to be Cuts. That's for sure. We'll see, but I hope he crushes it in St. Louis. You can't fade that. Again, not being there, not seeing the show in its entirety, you start to fade, you're going to drop. We've seen it time in and time out. So, Emerald Cup.
Let's move it over to there. So, boys, not only did we have the Los Angeles Grand Prix, your men's physique open pro show, but there's 2 other things that we want to cover. Like I said in the beginning of the video, this is number 2. This was the natural men's physique pro division. This is the Emerald Cup, IFBB Natural Pro Men's Physique. Tyler James, such a dominant 6'5" pro lifetime natty bodybuilder. He has the genetic symbol as he should. Gaff, I'll throw it over to you first. I don't know if you've seen this guy a lot, but you're about to. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Smith, my lord, what do you think?
I love this guy's look, man.
Did I mention he was natty? Did I mention he was natty?
Yeah, I was just going there, bro. I was just going there. Look at the lines on the sides of the obliques. First of all, some people say this guy looks too good to be natty. I disagree. You can tell by how his ab cage, they're etched for sure, but they're not gear etched, right? But they look phenomenal. He is a phenom. If he got on gear, Aaron Banks, watch out, because this guy would probably go through the roof. He's a tall dude. He's got great muscle bellies. He just looks and screams men's physique for sure with the flow. I like his posing. He's controlled. He's relaxed. He's got cap shoulders, great arms, great triceps. The wheels can come up a little bit on the quads, but he has nice calves, surprisingly, especially for a tall dude. And he's got a nice back. He's got a nice shape to his back. Again, these are natural guys. We're not going to see freakish muscles like we do with the enhanced. But then when he does this, look at that. A little bit more width, which G would give him for sure. His traps go crazy. Look at that. This guy has a bright future. I love to see him. Torrey Washington, another guy that I love to see. I can't wait to see these 2 guys battle it out, because this dude is this guy is going to see Torrey at some point. They've got a clash, and they have some of the best physiques in all of natural bodybuilding. And there's a lot of guys in natural, by the way, I just want to point out, that have some phenomenal physiques. People just keep saying, oh, these guys are not natty, da-da-da-da-da. They take tests regularly. They have a certain mentality, how they perceive gear. I absolutely believe, and based on how the eye test, just looking at how muscle looks on gear versus off, hey, listen, just because you can't achieve a physique like this with hard work, discipline, the right diet, and just busting your ass and being genetically gifted, doesn't mean someone else isn't. These guys are. So it's great to see. Phil, what do you think of the natty, Mr. Natty right here?
The first thing I want to say is I just got to clear up something you said, Gaffer. You said he takes tests regularly, and when he says test, he means blood tests, not testosterone. If anyone was wanting to question that one, but blood tests.
Right.
But man, these natty guys are getting freakier and freakier every single year. I mean, I remember seeing natty shows, and when you saw natties, it was just like a regular guy that was shredded. It was no real muscle there, no real pop to the arms, no pop to the delts. But then when you see these guys, and it's like, man, imagine what the enhanced world would do to these physiques. If you're doing this natty, when you're doing this natty, and you're bringing this shape, this flow, these muscle bellies to these stages, man, these guys, their roof is the bloody moon, the stars, and beyond. Because these guys will go extremely far. Like you said, Gaffer, I would love to see him up against Tory Washington. Obviously, Tory's been doing it for a lot longer. The muscle density, the time he's spent in the gym, the works. Give this guy a couple of years, man. You give this guy a couple more off seasons. Give him a bit more time in the gym. Like, look at those arms, man. Look at the round.
crazy.
Look at the cap delts. Look at
The separation.
Look at the bicep, man. That bicep is like a softball, man. It's like softball, baseball. I was supposed to say baseball, but man,
Softball's
the potential with this guy is high. I don't know. Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're
You're right.
softballs.
Yeah.
You gave him more
softball.
of a compliment, bro. You
Even
said
more-
softball.
Yeah, you gave him more
Softball's
of a
bigger
compliment with
than a
softball.
baseball. So that's a better compliment.
Even better.
Yep.
See, there you go. Lifetime Natty Tyler, mate. I'm giving the best compliments on the day. I don't even know what the difference, what they look like. Anyway, get back on the physique film. ADHD brain kicking in.
It is Tory
but
Washington
man,
right
what a
here.
physique. Insane.
Insane.
Anyway, Hart, back to you.
Yeah, I've been following Tyler for a long time. I want to say like minimum of 5 years. And when I first saw Tyler and we started DMing, he started sending me his physique. I was pretty astonished on the freakiness, the round muscle bellies. That has some of the best shoulders and arms. Even if he was in the pro league, I mean, he has arms to match a lot of these pro enhanced guys. There's a lot of pro enhanced guys that would do anything to have this guy's arms, his physique in general. Tyler is a specimen, guys. He's 6'5". Can we remember this? 6'5". You compared him to Aaron Banks. He would tower over Aaron Banks. He would tower over Raymond Edmonds. And the fact that he's finally really filling out this physique, I mean, you know this guy's got serious arms when you can see the triceps from the front. That's how freaky these muscle bellies are. The chest is nice and full. The upper chest is there. A tiny waist. I mean, bro, if you're not on your hands and knees every single day thanking the Lord above, I don't know what you're doing, bro. Beautiful showing for Tyler James. And again, the posing is beautiful. I see a little Aaron Banks in his posing. I see a little Raymond Edmonds in his posing. It's just freaky. And did I mention, not only is he winning bodybuilding shows, but Overtime has featured him about a year ago. My guy is slamming the dunk, slamming basketball. Bro, just freak athlete. Freak
Wasn't
athlete.
this
There's
on
guys that
ESPN
compete in
or something,
bodybuilding,
brother?
but they're, yeah, bro. Yeah. This guy is the real deal. Tory Washington, you better watch out. I think we saw Tory commenting. That's going to be an amazing matchup to see. Tyler James, congratulations. Also, Luke over at the Natty Physique Pod covered this, did a wonderful job leading the charge over there. Make sure you guys go follow he's the voice of Natural Men's Physique, and he has the Natural Physique Pod. I talked about it last week. He runs the #1 Natural Men's Physique Pro YouTube. Did a great job covering this guy. A lot of people don't tune into Natural Physique, but Luke is making a lot more people tune into him. Go check out his YouTube. Go check out how he covered this show. It was very, very exciting to see. Congratulations to Tyler James. Let's talk about the last topic of the day. The guy with the most money in his pocket. I mean, I don't know how much money this guy is making, but he's hanging out with the owner of Dark Sport. He's getting the double checks, and he's commenting on everyone's physique updates. He's getting the views. He's getting the likes. He's getting the checks. He's getting the medal. We're going to have this guy on the show. What do you guys think of George Brown winning the Masters Pro again?
Get Phil.
Man, George Brown, man, it's like you can't get him out of the spotlight. It's like he's one of those guys that when he's not in the spotlight, he'll find a way to pop back up, and then when he's not in the spotlight again, he'll come out of the corner and win 2 shows in a row. The guy, he's a freak. And like you said, Hart, he's got the most cash in his pocket right now based on the 2026 pro season. He's just collecting open checks. He's collecting Masters checks. He's qualifying for the Masters Olympia. Like, what can't this guy do? Standing toe-to-toe with some of the best Masters physiques, in the world, obviously you have to be best one of the masters physique in the world if you're on the IFBB pro stage. Gaffer, have you ever competed against George?
We did actually. We competed at, I think it was Miami Pro. Yeah, he looks. First of all, guys who are in masters show everybody what hard work, discipline, consistency, and having a plan and having a blueprint, what it looks like. That's George Brown. George Brown has been doing this for such a long period of time. He knows his body. He knows what he needs when his body looks off. He knows how to dial it in. He's changed up his working out, how he will work out. He used to be on machines a lot. Now he's back to just lifting heavy ass weights, back to the barbells, back to the dumbbells. Said I'm leaving the machines alone because I need this type of look. I need my body to go under this immense amount of pressure, and I need to get back into the dirty, grimy of bodybuilding again. I think of like Rocky Balboa with the big log on his shoulders, walking and trudging through the snow, getting ready to fight Ivan Dragoff, right, in the movies, for those who have ever watched Rocky. Anyway, the dude has a beautiful flow. He's always had that. He's got great posing. He controls his posing. He's the one who invented that George Brown X right there that everyone likes to do to really accentuate and show off all the striations and all the muscles and everything like that, all the cuts. I mean, it came from George Brown. So the guy is not only an innovator, he's also a guy who's got longevity. He's also a guy who has, he's in his 40s, but has the body of a 20-year-old, grainy muscle, right mentality, super cool dude. I mean, super cool guy. Loves to share his information, loves to drop gems on people, the guys coming up and everything. And man, like you said, Hart, can't say it enough, man. Can't wait to have him on the show. We got to have him on the show. Let's go, Masters. Check after check.
Yeah,
George Brown.
We got to get George on the show.
I got a question for you boys. How many shows you reckon George is going to do before he locks it down?
Bro, I don't think he has to push. I don't feel like he has to push gear as hard as some of the other guys, just because he's so experienced, especially in terms of the muscle and just staying in shape. Like, George doesn't get out of shape. I don't really think I've ever seen him out of shape. So I think at his ripe age, he's able to stay in good shape. So I would love to see a few more, Phil. I'd love to see a few more.
Well, how many has he done? He's done Charlotte. Did he do Tri-City?
Oh, bro.
I don't even.
No, he wasn't at Tri-City.
George.
I've lost track of how many shows this guy's done. He's done Emerald.
At least 3.
Puerto Rico?
It's at least 3, right?
Yeah, he's done 3. He did Puerto Rico. He did Charlotte.
Damn.
Yeah, 3.
Charlotte. So Charlotte, first in Charlotte Masters, first in Puerto Rico, and then first at the Emerald Cup. Phew, that's 3 back-to-back Master Pro wins for George Brown. Who's winning between Andre Ferguson and George Brown at the Masters Olympia?
I'm not opening that can of worms.
I would say this. Andre it's all about the consistency and the focus. That's the unknown variable. Andre focused is a very hard guy to beat, especially in that Superman pose. He's got just an incredible look to him. George Brown knows he's going up against Andre. He's going to be locked in, bro. He's going for number 1. Best believe that. They're buddies, so it's all in fun. But when they hit that stage, I can tell you this: I'm not worried about whether or not George Brown is going to be locked in. I need to see Andre come and really bring it, because he hasn't brought it in the past few years now. So until you do that, I got George Brown right now. What do you boys think? What you got, Phil? If you see George Brown and you see Andre on stage at the Masters who do you think's taking it right now?
You want me to be honest with you? I don't feel like being a George Brown reel tomorrow.
Come on, Phil.
I'm sitting on the fence.
Come on, Filthy Phil.
I'm sitting on the
drink
fence.
Drink a beer and a cig, and you'll tell us.
Nah, maybe. We'll see. We'll do that off air. Look at Goody.
Guys, I do want to talk about second place here. This is a pro Masters debut, Devin Grogans. He's been such a supporter of us boys for the longest time. I mean, day one, Hart McGrath supporter, the Men's Physique Show supporter, coached by our very own Miles Mann, which I did not know. But
That is
Devin
so
gets
dope.
second place. And you can see it right here. Miles says, huge congratulations to my brother Devin, taking home second in his IFBB Pro debut, 35 and up. Devin looked absolutely phenomenal. He is a Manifest brother. Did I say that? Manifest brother, code MP Show. Rocking my favorite. The purple Manifest is my favorite. Use our code. I had to give him a little love. Really nice, thick, wide back. Again, pro debut. My guy is just warming up. Here he is flowing through his routine. You can tell he's got that Miles Mann touch with him. Nice stage confidence, big smile. I love to see it from Devin. Second place at his pro debut. We will be following your journey, brother. Super, super excited. Here he is with King George Brown, kind of his highlight of the weekend. Second place at the Emerald Cup. Let's go. That was an OTS. This is the Men's Physique Show. What do you know about it?
Killer episode. Absolutely killer episode. What an episode. What a week. Like we said, a heap of Olympians, two massive shows, a lot of winners, a lot of great physiques on that stage, and the season's just going to get better and better and better. We've got a couple of shows this weekend, which we're looking forward to. I know there's a couple of guys that have jumped on stage last week, running the gauntlet, jumping back on that St. Louis stage this weekend, and we're looking forward to covering that one in our next couple of episodes. But guys, if you've made it to the end of this one, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The horde continues to grow each and every single day, each and every single week, and we couldn't do this without you guys and your support. So make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tap the bell icon to be one of the first to see all the episodes and interviews when they go live. Speaking of interviews, guys, the Aaron Banks interview, the Amit Agre interview are going absolutely bananas on the YouTube channel. If you haven't checked them out, make sure that you go to the YouTube page and check them out, because like a couple of guys have said, the amount of gems that are dropped in these interviews, the amount of knowledge, tips and tricks, and just to kind of see these guys' backstories and where they came from, because we all see them now as the Olympians, as the champions, as the athletes, but no one really knows where they came from. So make sure to go to the YouTube channel and check out all the interviews as well while you're there. Like those ones, and definitely comment on those as well. While you're there, speaking of commenting and liking, make sure to like and drop a comment on this one. It really helps the algorithm. And last but not least, take a screenshot of this episode, upload it to your story. Tell me, Gaffer.
Hey, one important thing that we need to announce for sure and let everyone know is that this Wednesday, the Men's Physique Show will be on Physique's platform, giving advice, answering questions, giving posing tips, the whole nine, anything you want. There's only 100 spots that are open, so be one of those 100. Trust me, you want to be there. We'll be going on at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. That is 7:15 Western Time. Give everyone a chance to get home. We're going to be on for an hour, and it's going to be phenomenal. So you definitely want to get on Physique's website, Physique's platform, and come check the Men's Physique boys, because, hey, we're giving it. A lot of people hit us up every single day, all week. Hey, what do you think of the posing? What do you think of the diet? Hey, I need a coach. Phil, can you coach? Look, we're here for you, and we want to be here for you. We believe that all this helps the league get better, steel sharpens steel, and putting the best version of you on stage just perpetuates someone else to be a better version of themselves in order to beat you, right? So everybody elevates collectively. That's what it's about. Go ahead, Phil. Sorry to interrupt, man, but that we can't forget, because that's an important thing.
No, we're gonna post that all over our social media this week. Stories, the links, the work. So yeah, like Gaffer said, make sure you're one of the first 100 people to be a part of that, and let us critique you, help you with your posing, the whole nine. While we're on that, special thank you to all the guys powering the show as well. Like we said, Physique, Manifest Board Shorts, Physique Fitness, Huge Supplements, Kippy, Dr. Campbell over there at the Center of Wellness and Pain Care. All the discount codes are below. Check out all the links in the bio. And guys, other than that, enjoy the rest of the morning, the night, the evening, whatever time you're watching this one. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. See you, Gaffer.